Hi, I'm Carson Malone here with collegefilmmakers.com. We're out here at the Dallas International Film Festival 2019. It's day 2 at DIFF and we're ready to go. Let's do it. What was it like shooting overseas in such a unique location?
It was very interesting. I mean, it was a beautiful experience getting to see this different culture and be a part of it. But I would, budget concerns, obviously, going back and forth. I would spend about 2 months on, 2 months off filming, and in order to give them a break, but also some time to pass in the narrative of their lives. And so I would say just the constant travel and trying to navigate these types of logistics and keeping things afloat back home with support staff while I'm over there filming. It's an interesting experience, but one I'll never forget. It was great.
Very cool. And what would you say Sami's and Muhammad's story says to humanity? Like what?
Well, I'll let him speak to it as well, but to me, one of my main takeaways and what I learned from them is that freedom is not necessarily something that you have or you don't have, but it can be something that you practice. And creativity, small acts of creativity, depending on your environment or the obstacles that are standing in your way, can be very profound and beautiful. So I would say that practicing freedom is the thing that I learned.
Inspiration can go a long ways. So in the film, there's a few characters who are younger, who are like just secondary students in the parkour team. But we were over there recently, and those young kids are now grown men. But they're not only grown men, they're still teaching. And they're teaching because they were inspired by a teacher, and now they're inspired to teach others. And even in a space of confinement where freedom is extremely limited, they are still inspired to teach, and it's become an intergenerational story of inspiration. And it's one powerful thing to learn, and it's an especially powerful thing to see in our film, so we're real excited about that.
Yeah, the film definitely shows that even in a life confined, the human mind can find its own freedom no matter what. What would you guys say to any college filmmakers? What advice would you give to them as they're trying to find their way as storytellers?
Yeah, I would encourage everyone to become storytellers of their own story or stories that inspire them. I would say surround yourself with people. I mean, this is our first time making a feature film, so we surrounded ourselves with people who knew more than we did and could offer us counsel. It's really important to find people that you can collaborate with, but can also kind of hold your hand along the way and point you in the right direction, but also just to stick to your gut. And if you have something that's like burning inside of you that you need to get out there, you should take the step and do it. There's always going to be an excuse to put it off until something's perfect or the script's not right or all these different things. I think if you just take that first step, things will start falling into place and beautiful cinema can happen.
Look, anxiety troubles a lot of people, and it's easy to get overwhelmed, but at some point you just got to take the leap and go make your thing you need to make. Now, you can do that, and to mirror what Michael said, you do that, but you try to do it as smart as possible, and that means seeking counsel, finding some people who have the experience, who have a little bit of know-how, and kind of partnering with them. So take the big leap, but take the leap with people that you trust and can guide you and lead you.
We're interested, how was it having a film crew follow you around and record?
For me, it was just another aspect of the art that I make, because I've always been really open and honest, almost brutally, about music. So when he suggested we film it over a time period to tell the story, I was fine with it. It's the other people that were in the film that really needed the pat on the back for the work that they put into it. The editors, the colors, the director, the band members, their families that had to open back up and re-spark that flame that they put out a while back. Maybe open that wound a little bit. So those are the people that deserve all the glory, really, for me, it was just la da 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 da.
So growing up, did you ever visit Deep Ellum, and who was your inspiration, like to enter the alt rock genre?
Man, Deep Ellum was like where I used to have a loft off of Lemon, and I used to go down on Deep Ellum, and I used to play the Curtain Club, and I used to play Trees, and I used to follow bands like the Flaming Lips and all around Sonic Youth, Peter Gabriel, the Smiths, The Cure, and then you come down here to Dallas, and it was this whole vibey thing where it was all these artists in this one area, and I always felt at home here in Dallas,
Very cool.
And I met my management team and partner of 15 years here in Dallas. So because of Dallas, I have a career.
Very awesome.
And because of this guy, I have a film. So thank you, Dallas. What?
So if you guys could give any advice to both college filmmakers and college rock bands alike, what would you guys say to them?
Be prolific. Go create. You have no excuse not to. Go make your movies. Go make your songs. Go write poetry. Go be your artistic self, and don't sit around and complain that you haven't been given the opportunities, because we have given you the opportunities. You can do so much with current technology that used to cost us thousands of dollars to do for nothing. So now I think talent should be prolific. Go make stuff.
That's great advice. And for rock bands, what would you say?
I would say in this day and age, it's the most exciting day and age for music, because there's no excuse that you can't get music out and go on tour and perform in front of people and change lives right in front of them. You can't sit around and wonder, when am I going to get a record deal anymore? If you put out a good song that changes someone's life, they will hold on to you forever. So don't be lazy. Keep putting it out. Keep putting it out. Keep putting it out. And just get out there and tour. Quit your job. Get out there and do it if you believe in yourself.
So we're wondering, Meredith, what inspired you to make Deep Tissue?
Sure. I had been thinking a lot about codependency and relationships and how to sort of manifest like what that feels like. And I don't want to give away too much about the film because it's kind of the punchline. It's only 9 minutes. But I've been thinking a lot about these bigger themes. And then I got a massage as part of a Sundance swag bag. And so this masseuse came to my house, and I was like, this is so weird and intimate. And it made me think about intimacy and all these things. And then he left, and I wrote the short 5 minutes later. And then my producers helped me like explore some of the bigger themes going on there. But that's kind of where it came from.
Very awesome. And what would you say to any college female filmmakers who want to get involved in the industry and share their message?
Two things. One, acknowledge imposter syndrome. Acknowledge when you are feeling like you shouldn't be there, and be like, I feel those feelings, and that's okay, but I'm supposed to be here. I think that's something a lot of my female colleagues and I on panels and over wine, by ourselves, I've had a lot of conversations about feeling like imposters in an industry that has been against us for so long. Or maybe not against us, maybe, but not embracing us in the way that I think we're seeing now. I also think it's like, find your people. Find the people that are going to be your allies, because filmmaking is a collective, teamwork associated craft. So I think you find the people that are going to help you do it, and you're set.
And we're wondering, what inspired you guys to make your film?
Well, it started with a very special and dynamic friendship between me and my co-writer and co-star Jen Tulloch. And she had the idea of sisters who find out that the mother they thought died when they were young is actually alive and on television. And over the years, we just kept coming back to it and kept building out the story based on what we were learning individually as artists and what we were learning as people and about ourselves. And then Mallory came on, and
I think it naturally kind of took an evolution where every other collaborator that came on board and all their roles really infused themselves into it and offered a level of like personalization to the two of them that has made it not only their unique story but also a very universal one, which is cool.
Yeah, it's like it's a tapestry of family dysfunction.
Yes, which we all know well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, what would you give advice for college filmmakers? What would you say to them if they want to get into the industry and make films?
Do you want to start?
I'll start. We're going to say the same thing.
Okay.
Find the people that you like to work with. Work with them, keep working with them. It's the relationships you make and how you build that out and support each other that's going to get you your work for your lifetime to come. And don't be afraid to make things. I think that's a common misconception, is that you're waiting for someone to give you permission. And really, if you just go do it yourself and keep...
It does cost money.
It does. That's true. Yeah, work, make money.
Well, if you work for free, then people will owe you favors and feel bad and lend you their camera.
Yes.
Or, you work at that one rental place, or you hustle your face off to make things.
You get a little bit of both. You work for money and you work for free, and then you have money to make it and favors to pull from, and then you've got yourself...
And make it, and don't be worried about investing your own money and making those first couple of things, because it really just takes one thing to open the door.
Yeah.
And you won't have that thing until you make it. So just keep making. You're gonna be broke. You're gonna have to have other shitty jobs.
But support each other, truly. I mean, it's a small world. Everybody knows each other. You'll continue to know each other. People won't go away. Like, create good friendships and good relationships, and be a stand-up person.
And keep liking it.
Yeah.
If you start not liking it, just stop.
We want to know, how did you guys meet? How did you guys come?
How did we meet? Go for it.
Oh, well, we met in college. We've been married over 20 years, so we were theater majors, and we got cast opposite each other in Fiddler on the Roof, and fortunately we didn't break up during the run of the show, because that would have been disastrous. But I also remember you quoting Mark Maron when you were doing the film. That he's a comedian. He's now got some successful TV series, but he wrote somewhere that sometimes it's not about the funny, it's about the sad. And you actually emailed Mark Maron. He wasn't quite as famous then, and asked if you could use it on the title page.
Yeah, he just wrote back, sure, and it was like the coolest, it was like the biggest day of my life. Just one word, he just said, sure, you can use that quote, so that was a big inspiration, his podcast early on.
Very cool. And what advice would you give to other theater majors who are looking to get into stage production or maybe even acting?
Find your collaborators, because you have to. This is all happening because I have friends who wanted to work, and so finding the people who are just as hungry as you, who want to tell the same stories you want to tell, and just getting to work, man. I mean, it's really about relationship, and I'm not a natural networker. I think it's more about friendship and relationships and finding the people that get you and you get, and will challenge your point of view and make you consider other points of view, and just getting to work.
And you can't wait for someone to come to you. You have to. He wrote a screenplay before there was anyone else involved, just knowing that he was going to find a way to do it.
Just for like a student, try to break out of your student bubble as soon as possible. Like internships, volunteer on sets. Go to film festivals, like meet people, that's because some of the connections that I've made that I've been going to the South by Southwest Film Festival in Austin since 1995, and I still talk to people that I met because I happened to catch their movie, and then went up to them after the Q&A and just told them how much I really liked the movie. Like friendships and collaborations, that's where it starts. Events like this, and so I think if you're a student, you can get so caught up in just kind of trying to get through your classes, get through your day, whatever, but it's just college is really short, and if you want to have a career, it's going to be really long. So kind of get that process started of going out into the community as soon as possible.
I would say that The beautiful thing these days is the tools have been democratized tremendously. So when I was young, you needed a lot more money to make anything, and it was harder to get access to the resources and the people. Nowadays, if you're a student in college, odds are you have something in your pocket, and by which I mean your telephone. You can shoot video at high definition, and it can record sound, which for 30 years or 60 years was more than the greatest filmmaker with the greatest technical tool could possibly have. So, don't get hung up on, does it look like Hollywood? Do I have a 30-person crew? If you're a storyteller and you want to tell stories, the tools are available to you now in a way that they've never been before. So take advantage of it and let that help you grow and develop to the bigger picture stuff that you probably dreamed of when you were a kid and wanted to make films.